Hello, dear friends. Here we are with Poom Prommachart, ready for the concert of tomorrow, and we want to welcome you and say hello to, all together to Poom. Hello, Poom. How are you?
Hello, I'm absolutely great. Thank you, Frank.
How do you feel? Are you ready for the online performance of tomorrow?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm so looking forward to share music with everybody.
All of us we want to listen to you so much, and especially me, I would like so much to listen your fantasy of Schubert with Chai. And
It's so beautiful.
I would like to ask you some question. I would like to talk with you together with our fans, our friends of Le Salon de la Musique. I would like to ask you something about the musical education system in Thailand.
Oh, this is a very interesting question. Because I think because Thailand has so much culture from the past, but it's mostly more into Thai music, like Thai instruments and etc. etc. But for Thai people, I think we have a very good kind of like private school. It's not so much like music conservatory. Of course, now already we have some, but mostly Thai students will have to go to the private teacher and to build up really good fundamental work in order to be able to enter music conservatory in the future. What can be very tough for us is how we can actually become so disciplined with ourselves, how we can actually become like so independent with ourselves also. But I think if Thai people and everybody work practicing really hard, then anything can happen, as I
Mhm.
as I believe.
Does it have the educational Thailand system something common with American, European, or Russian music system?
I think the system, in your opinion, and in my opinion, if in my point of view for Thailand, it would be something that for the degree because I don't think it's quite a really common. For example, with Russia, how we actually train Thai pianists because every environment is very different. Sometimes in Russia it can be much more tough in order to achieve something. For Thailand, I think the thing is that everybody can be somebody because not so many already not so many pianists, but now gradually they come more and more, including myself. We have a really strong also kind of like musical education in terms of writing, in terms of research
Hmm.
in Thai university. So the degree is kind of almost the same with USA because we have bachelor, we have master, we have doctorate degree, but we don't have artist diploma yet now. So if it's in terms of musical education with degree, it would be this kind of direction. But for piano training and for how we build up our technique, this kind of skill, of course, much more relaxed than
And
on even in Italy. But I myself, I try to be very honest with my student, and the most important thing is that even we are a small country, we shouldn't believe all the time that we are the best in our country because we have to be able to develop in order to be able to perform for internationally, not just for Thailand.
yeah, I would like to ask you some about your personal experience. When did you start to practice? Why did you start to practice and to play piano?
Oh, basically, I wasn't really. I mean, I love music so much, and I have one older sister and one younger sister. They both play piano. But the thing is that I was a really naughty boy, And my mother, she did not believe that I can really play the piano. So she didn't want to put me to play the piano. Already until age of 10 or 11 that I say to my mom that, look, I saw my two sisters, they're playing so well, and I really want to play the piano. She didn't really believe in me until the point that I have to try by myself, and I forced really for me to have a piano lesson. So when I first studied, I had a really good teacher, which become my foster father because my father he passed away when I was very young. So my piano teacher become kind of like my main patron, and he was giving me a lesson every single day with all etude, all everything. And in 2 years, I could manage to play concerto like Greek, Saint-Saëns, Schumann, this thing. So until that point, my father said to me that he would like not to have me anymore. He felt that Thailand is not enough for me. So he sent me to Singapore to have a very serious education with proper Russian kind of like solid start, because back at that time, like 25 years 20 years ago, still Singapore is very important for Thailand. We don't have money to fly over to Europe. Is to go to London or to go to Moscow 20 years ago for Thai people is really a big thing for someone who's, to be honest, not so rich. And
Mhm.
it's happening really luckily that I gave my first piano lesson. Oh, no, sorry. I gave my first piano recital in Bangkok, and the king's sister saw the news on the newspaper. So this is a really, really my starting point of my career, that she came, and I still remember so well. I can even tell you I was 14 at that time. And I remember many recital, I don't remember what did I play. But that recital, I remember precisely that I play Mozart Opus 310. I play Polo Piano, I play La Campanella by Liszt, I play Chopin Second Sonata, and I play Andante Spianato at that
Wow,
time. And
very
then,
big
yeah,
program. Yeah.
no, but I was young and I didn't care. When you were younger, it's sort of much better in confidence in yourself. You feel more comfortable on stage. I was very vibrant boy, and she asked me to meet her. And for Thai people, we are very, very respect to Thai royal family until the point sometimes we can't approach them so easily. Everything must have permission, which I respect that. So for me to be in the same room with the princess, it was really
Incredible.
something in my. I mean, I was not even Mister. Can you imagine? I was just a little boy at that time.
I
At
cannot
that time
imagine.
in Thailand. Yeah, and that time we don't really even have a proper music conservatory. I just studied with my father at his house, and we even to get a score, like for example Beethoven sonata, is very difficult. It's very difficult. We don't have YouTube at that time.
Mhm.
Nobody knows anything. I already know others, and then she asked me that who's my favorite pianist at that time. So I say to her that, oh, I love Martha Agris and Evgeny Kiftin. These two names is like a role star, for young generation, like past 20 years. Of course, now she's still my idol. And then she said to me, the princess said to me that, Poom, you have to grow up as a Thai person. You cannot grow up as a Russian or as a European. You have to be proud of yourself. Talk to your mom to treat you as a Thai boy. And you will follow me to Verbier Festival in Switzerland to see Argerich in person. And she also said to me that I'm going to follow her to Japan to go for Mata Agari's music festival. And that was like, my hand was shaking at that time because because she's sending me. I mean, I don't even, imagine that I could even travel abroad at that time. And she went back to the palace, and the next day that she rang me to meet her at the palace, she just prepared me Mata Agris and Kissing playing duet together. DVD. So I everything just happening that time, and she brought me to Verbier, and that was a chance that I met so many pianists in my life. I met so many good teachers such as Claude Fang, Dmitry Bashkirov, at that time, and I had a chance to play for them. And after that, the princess sent me to London to have a proper education. But then, unfortunately, that she passed away before I finished my bachelor. So her daughter looked after me even until now. And when I get older, everything passed. Every single concert, I would think about her again and again. And then when I was struggling with scholarship, when I studied in Moscow after London, then, accidentally at Beethoven's third concerto concert that you're going to show the audience, that concert, the former president of Thailand came to my concert. I did not know about it. I did not know anything about it. And then he gave me scholarship to study in Canada, to study in
Amazing.
Russia. So I feel really blessed of my life until some point that when I meet some really good talent, I don't want to charge money because I myself, I don't know. I have piano lesson, many piano lesson. It's really a feel that I have to pay my money. Every single piano teacher of myself, every, I feel like myself, God gave me something that I have education for piano. Without, I don't even have to really try spend money to get a piano lesson. So for me to play the music and to start this education, I don't really care about competition or anything at all. Every time I play the music, I think about these people who came to my life, and it drives me even more passionate in my performance. And I always try to bring out my individuality, through the music. And I
Yes, yes.
think this is kind of really important for artists too.
But tell me, I want to ask you, thinking about your incredible story, about your, because, you mentioned that you are supporting and helping your young talented Thai pianists.
Mhm.
Because I'm thinking about your story that, somebody came into your life, so you had the opportunity to go. But there are maybe other pianists in the world. They are really talented, but they have not the same opportunity we had. We can consider us very lucky pianists. I want to ask you, because you mentioned that you are supporting and helping young talented Thai pianists. Could you tell more about it and tell us your future projects about it?
First of all, of course, a lot of Thai pianists approach me, and I'm so happy to help anybody, not just my student, you know. And what I wanted to help so much for Thailand is to be very honest with how they could develop. This is the first thing. I'm not talking about opportunity yet because I believe that if Thai pianists play so well, then they will be able to play anywhere, not just Thailand.
Mhm.
So how I help students is that when I give piano lesson or when I give master class, I also look at students who can afford my honestly comment, you know, who can really listen to what I say. And I always have good wish for everybody. But to be honest, not everybody would like to hear mistake or complain. I don't want to complain about students, but when you are teaching, you have to be very direct how they improve. If I see students who would like just compliment, or if I give some negative comment about their playing, and they get upset at me, I will kind of not to push myself, but I still encouraging them, I still support them. And then the next thing, after they have good education, I would like them to perform. And by making a performance, I don't believe that you have to only play in Carnegie Hall all the time.
Of
You don't
course.
have to play in Big Mall Hall all the time. I think making recording is extremely important because making recording is much more difficult than playing in live or even in competition. It brings so much frustration. So I support them in terms of methodology, kind of philosophy, how they could become a good pianist. And after everything is ready, I always, very, how to say, very supportive for anybody to play. We have a many beautiful concert hall in Thailand, and after they perform well, they have to be always ready, and they can always go for international competition. But going for international competition should treat as a platform for international pianists to perform, not to get a prize. So also it's not that easy to to talk with parents about this issue, because if something happen with my student and they cannot win, then parents get really upset at the teacher. And I don't think this is something that is right, because the best teacher is always the one who try whatever the best to make their student to play very well, not just to win the competition.
But you see, you said that about competition, that maybe parents they can get upset with the teacher if they, I don't know. What do you think about this? I think is very bad thing, because first of all, I don't like the competition for artists. I believe that horses compete, artists they
Mhm.
create music. But when there is a competition, okay, let's let's think about competition. You don't need to think about winning. You must think about performing.
Absolutely.
You must think about uh, developing your piano playing. And also I take this opportunity to know many other pianists, young pianists, to
Yes,
listen to them.
yes.
So this thing that you just said about is very, it's very sad thing. Also, I think that not only in Thailand is like this. Many,
Yeah.
there are the same.
Sometimes commercial is very dangerous for young artists. I see so many pianists, especially in Thailand, that they are not ready yet. And already I saw in a magazine, already in newspaper, that this is world class pianist. And I myself, I don't like using my name as a concert pianist, because when I think about it, who's concert pianist? Concert pianist is Christian Zimmerman or Martha Argerich. I will be very happy to be a pianist, you know. But
Yes.
for me to achieve to some certain point for people to call a world-class pianist or internationally pianist, or this kind of thing, I think is something unreal. The most important thing is that students develop themselves as an artist. They become an artist, then they can do anything. But I have seen so many artificial, especially so dangerous for young pianists. And sometimes young pianists, they are doing far too many competition, and then going absolutely in the same repertoire, and so dangerous, because for example, they can play one list beautifully at age of 10, and then by age of 17 they're playing completely the same list, and then when they were 10 they look better than age of 17. You know what I mean? Because
Uh,
they are not developed. They just go for one competition to the other competition, and when they win competition is something like, oh my god, this is a star. But I myself, I never get excited. Even to my student, every time if they win competition, I say congratulations. Then when they come to my lesson, we carry on working. We're not going to live in the dream forever. When I participate in competition 10 years ago, I won this competition. Now it's completely gone from me. no one cares. Did I win
Exactly.
that competition or that I win that competition? But so many competition. For example, I was participating in Sydney competition or Dublin competition, this kind of competition, and just maybe 5 or 10 people saw the way I play and asked me to give a recital. This kind of thing, it has to happen. You have to treat it like a concert. You have to treat with music. Don't just to jump one to the other one competition and become like a horse. And this is something that cannot happen to my student. I know that people in Asia, in China, in Korea, in Thailand, they are so crazy of who's winning competition. And sometimes is hurting my heart. And I felt like, so who's gonna become an artist? There was one time, this is really a small experience for me, is that I listened to one performance in Bangkok, and I thought that that was not it was not good. Not that I mentioned that that person did not play in the right way. That what I want. No, not at all. But something that destroying this person. So I didn't quite agree, and then somebody asked me, and also parents asked me, and I, of course, I was not rude. I never rude. I never say you play really badly. I just give a suggestion, really simple thing, that sometimes you have to try to find pianissimo, not always to overly on the top with emotion on the face or gesture, because this kind of thing is not a performance. Because what the technique of performance is the sound, how you can
Exactly.
actually make the sound, how you can actually communicate. And the reply from that competitor parent was that, oh, I think teacher, I think you sit too close to the stage, that's why it's too loud for you. And this kind of thing in my country is, it really, for me, it's hurting me. So I'm kind of a little bit close now in Thailand, but I do for people who have the same direction with me. For students, sometimes very difficult to talk with parents. I don't think student is the problem. I think sometimes parents can be really, really, really big problematic to talk with a teacher. But if student really believe us, I always ready to help. I never look at the watch when students
Yes.
have lesson. I will teach them until the point that when they go home, they know how to practice. They practice beautifully. And also the other thing about musical education in Thailand is that, can you believe that one student have lesson with piano teacher maybe 5 per week, or at least 3, because parents, they believe that this piece should go with this teacher, this piece should go with this teacher, that piece
This
should
is
go with that teacher.
this is
So
crazy.
yes, so my heart is a little bit closed. I will only pay attention with people, even I met someone play beautifully, even not the way I want, but I appreciate it. If I'm on the jury, I will never ever judge or give comment, this one I don't like. I cannot. I have to judge. I have to be a good jury, that you looking at the sound, you looking at the interpretation, you looking at the pianistic level, not to look at what you like. And when I see some student play beautifully, not in my way, I feel even more happy. And I'm so happy when I know that this student study with this teacher only one alone for 5 years, for 3 years, for 7 years. And I appreciate it. I don't like so much when students came to me and say, oh, Mr. Poom, can I have one master class with you? And I'm sure that you can make me win, for example, this local competition in Thailand. And actually, when I start to be on the jury in Bangkok, then okay, I will come to you, and then okay, you will make me win. And then when they don't win, they get upset at me. But it has nothing to do with me. This kind of thing
Yes.
is, I think, is, almost every country. Even in Thailand, I think, almost every country. But in Thailand, I think, almost every country, they have this kind of thing. That, okay, you will make me win. And then when they don't win, they get upset at me. But it has nothing to do with me. This kind of thing is almost every country.
Mm, 1 second, I cannot hear you. There is something with the connection. Please repeat your last phrase. That I didn't hear you. Y-
Yes, last phrase I said to you that I think it's almost everywhere in the world that people are so competitive with competition, and students they will come to me when I'm on the jury of this competition, and this is kind of I don't think it's the right logic. I would like a student to come or to study music and develop themselves as a pianist, not just
Exactly.
not just to win competition.
You know
Oh,
what?
one competition, one of I let two of my students participate. One of them they won first prize. The other one got kicked out from first round, and I was on the jury. I did not help anybody. It just happened like that. And I'm saying to myself, and I'm always saying in Thailand that I want to be one of the pianists that completely fair and clean. And if it's my student, I will not do anything. You know, so that's it. What I want to tell you.
You know what? What I will do? I will completely delete the CV. The CV. You know, when I read the CV, this guy won. Okay, let's read here. First prize here, first prize there. He played here, he played there. You know, everyone can write what he wants on this piece of paper. Everyone can go and play somewhere, pay rent this hall, win one of the billion competition. Why is so important? We don't want to listen this kind of things. At least me, I don't want to listen this kind of things. I would prefer if I go to one concert, for example, for my concert. I know that, for example, festivals or when I go to perform, they ask the CV. But if it would depend from me, I would write only Francesco Comito, pianist, and stop.
Absolutely.
After I play, you think, you judge me, you like or you don't like, doesn't matter. But the most important thing is that you were listening to me and not reading first where I was,
Of
blah blah blah.
course.
This is only blah blah blah. This is only blah blah blah. And what you said before. 1 second. Here there is one question interesting that I didn't read. What Let me show to our friends. What do Poom? This is for you. What do you think about differences between schools? Do you believe that they exist, considering the tendency of globalization? Russian piano school, French piano school, German.
This is, I really love this question, and I really would like to answer this question. Is that a good pianist is a good pianist. Good
Exactly.
artist is a good artist. I don't believe in the words that, oh, this from Russian school and they're the best. Or if you play Debussy or Ravel, then you have to study at Paris Conservatory only. I think the best musician is the one who develop each style and learn each style correctly and put it into their own personality. You know what I mean?
I
But
understand perfectly.
so I think also if we talk about school, I think it's just a matter when you are very young. For example, Russian are very strong technically. Korean they are very strong. Japanese, China, they're very strong. Even France, even Italy. But then when you develop, what I have learned is that when I study in Moscow Conservatory, then when you enter conservatory, then already professors they feel that every all work have to be already done after before you finish high school. For example, technically, then when you go, it's like always like kind of like a master class that you have to be always very ready to get sort of interpretation and improve yourself for the next level, right? But regarding about piano school, I think, of course, that there are piano school, French, Russia, but for me, the technique is sound, and good artist is good artist. We cannot describe that Martha agrees. I don't know what the school is she, or Vladimir Horowitz or Arthur Rubinstein. I think everybody must produce individuality, not just produce that. Oh, you play like Russian. I'm
Exactly.
not
This
Russian.
is
I'm Thai, and no one can say to me that, oh, Mr. Poom have, he has Thai school. What is Thai school? There is no Thai school.
absolutely not exists. The personality.
Absolutely.
I think that exists the good pianist and not and bad pianist, the good musician and bad musician. If you have sensitivity, if you have talent, you can even play with your nose. Doesn't matter if you play with a finger like this, with a finger like this, with the finger like this. You can even play with your nose. But the most important thing is your personality, your individuality, as you say. So I think this question, I cannot read who made this question, but I must say that it's really, really good question. So
Hmm.
I want to ask another question to you. Last time we were briefly talking about your current teacher, Dang Tai
Yes.
Song. We all
Oh,
know him. Yeah, we know all him as an incredible artist, but we would like to know more about his teaching method and your experience by being his student.
I have to say that it's really a bliss for me to meet him. Not even to be his student, not to even to mention to be his student, but just to meet him in person, I learned so many things. Like when you entering a room, sometime when you have some piano teacher, they make you work really hard with your finger, right? Immediately when after you open the door, you have to go on the piano and play like this. But with Dang Taison, he never does that. You have to be yourself. If you don't practice, it's fine for him. Then he will probably just talk to you for 1 hour, not giving lesson, this kind of thing. But what is special about him is that he's keeping everybody as themselves. He
Mhm.
will not, against anything. Even you play something and he doesn't like, for example, he's playing, he concentrate everything through sound. He does not like manner like moving hand or faces or this kind of thing. So everything must control from finger and sound, and the sound should project, not pressing. It's not like you are hitting, but with Dang Tai Son, when he play even pianissimo, but you can hear even 4,000 seat concert hall, you can hear it really, really well. Even if I doing something he doesn't like with my face or with my gesture, he said, "Pum is fine because if you play this kind of music, like in Nikolai Medtner or in Rachmaninoff, it requires really strong intuition from you. But if you play this kind of manner, for example, César Franck, which is a romantic composer, but you have to approach César Franck in completely different philosophy, or in Chopin, you don't use too much this kind of thing. So I would say his teaching was amazing about him is that he's helping artists to become even better person, better teacher. And one thing I wanted to share with you is that is a really beautiful word that he said to me. He said, "Poom, competition," because that time I was already in semi-final in one competition I don't want to mention, and I play Carl Sonata number one, the
Yeah.
contemporary, and it,
Yes,
it
yes.
went completely. I really enjoy myself on stage with Carl number one. But the thing is that, do you remember they said to me that they cannot measure this work, they don't know it, so they didn't put me for for further. The worst thing is that they did not award me contemporary prize, which they gave contemporary prize to somebody who played Scriabin Third Sonata, for example. you know. So this is for me, it's completely crazy. And then Dang Taeson said to me, Poom, competition is just a part, just a little part of your life. You're so young. You're just 30. You're just 29, 30. You are going to play piano for the rest of your life, right? You're going to teach piano for the rest of your life, right? So you better learn and improve in a correct way how to become a good teacher, good artist, good pianist, and that will stay with you forever. You know, and
Exactly.
after he's saying this to me, then I feel so strong, and I never get worried again in my performances. And he's a very, very careful teacher. I was about to prepare in one very important Chopin competition, not in Warsaw, in other Chopin competition in 2 years' time. And then he said to me that, Poom, when you go for competition, and this is also really important for pianists, younger pianists, when they go for competition. For example, if they require you one Chopin etude, Dang Taison would ask me to bring at least five etudes or six etudes. And he will say to me, okay, I think you play this one well. Or if they ask for one Chopin ballad, he will ask you to play four of them. And then he will choose only one. He will not saying, he never interfere me like, okay, Poom, you have to play this piece. No, never. Every single repertoire I decide by myself. Professor never tell me what to do. But I don't know, when I walk into his direction, I never get lost. But he let me do everything by myself, because I used to have people who always telling me absolutely, this bar you have to play like this. This passage is not right, and you have to play this piece. This is only piece for you. And I was kind of losing my confidence of myself. I lose myself as a teacher of myself. Then when I don't have teacher, then I get lost, and I didn't know how to practice. I don't know how to read the score. This happened so many times when I was younger than now. But now, because of him, it made me feel like, yeah, I can do this passage. I have my own message. I have my right to say this word to audience. I have right to say this and this. And all his students play very different. When we look at his best student, they are all so different. And I think this is what is special about him. And the way he play to students in the lesson, just unbelievable. Sometimes I went for the lesson, for example, Chopin Mazurka. I would just sit and listen to how he play, and then I understand everything. When I
This is the
sit,
most important
yeah,
thing, that a teacher inspire the student, not only say
yeah,
you must do this. If you there is music is incredible because you don't need words. Actually,
of
if you
course,
play also with eyes, if you inspire your student, you will get a result for sure. And listening this thing from you is really important, not only for me but also for the people that are listening to us. you know um, I I've seen many teachers. They were saying you must play like this, blah blah blah, or and always um, they have the same students. They play the same way. But I believe one thing, that teach teach music is like um, the workers, they work with the soil, seeds, and fruits or flowers. Every student is a different kind of flower of plant. Is completely
absolutely.
different thing. You cannot believe that one plant of basil would become a rose. The teacher should make everything that this plant of basil would be the most perfume plant of basil, the most delicious plant of basil, and not think that okay, every one should be a rose. It's the same
Yes,
speech, for example,
absolutely.
say, it's the same thing about animals. You cannot say to an elephant to fly. The good teacher should should give to the elephant the right job for him. For example, the elephant takes this big tree and can transport it. The eagle can go and help the hunter to catch the rabbit. You know, everyone has his place in the world. So it's really important what you just said.
The
I
last
want.
thing that I can, yeah, the last thing I wanted to mention from him, and I think it's gonna be very useful for young pianists, is that I always study with I use always an intuition when I play the piano to have the passion to I was trying so much to do things on the piano. And then one thing Dang Taeson saying immediately in the first lesson, he said to me, Poom, when you grow up, you have to be a deep musician. You have to play the music really deep from your heart. And sometimes passion is not very deep. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
So that word, after he's saying something like this to me, I know what to do with myself. Is this is something really, really amazing from him. He will not doing to you like, hey, Poom, this finger you have to put is like this or this dynamic. He will use something like this, and you have to get it by yourself, and you have to work.
That
I
this
think
is
it's
also
great.
important. Yes, because in this way the student can improve, actually searching inside himself. It's not only say, okay, you must do like this. The student, because for example, what it works with my hand in one technical passage, maybe it does not work for another student, for
Of
another
course,
pianist, and this pianist should, every pianist should, I believe, search inside himself, try to feel his body and see how his body reacts. Because, for example, one passage, there are some people they can play with the hand like this. This is something crazy, okay, to play like this. But if he plays the passage and the passage sounds beautiful, okay, play like this. I don't care. The most
of
important
course.
thing is the result. Is the result. Of course, if you see that there is no result, of course the teacher should say something how to do it. But if there is a result, if the student is good, the student is searching, try, maybe he will not play this etude, so one etude by Chopin so well in 1 year, but maybe after 3 years will appear this, when you switch on the light in your mind, and he will discover some movement or some feeling for example, of freedom in his hand that will allow him to play this etude perfectly. So,
Of course.
for example, tell me about something about your way of practicing, your practicing routine. How do you practice? Do you have any advice to our listener? Maybe we have some pianists here online with us. How do you practice if you have not a piano?
I practice no matter what electric piano or upright piano or grand piano. I practice really slow. I practice really slow and almost pianissimo all the time. And every single note I'm trying to get under my skin, not just to make it correctly, but I think music in terms of very polyphonic, very, very polyphonic way, and also to demand myself for the sound. Then I record myself on the piano all the time. And I always check back, oh, this one, how can I do this? Because we are pianists, I'm sure you understand me. Sometimes we are so busy with the finger until the point that we don't know how we play. And we don't know what's the problem it is until we hear ourselves. Because I don't believe that there are technical issue or something. I always think that it is a sound and mentally. I have also to practice mental, especially with Chopin, with Mazurka, with Etude. Everything we must have our own conception, like a conductor. So not just to practice always with the finger, because with the finger it can be very tiring. At the same time, our finger, it has no brain. You know, our brain has to control the finger. So we practice with brain. I think this is my philosophy for practice.
Yeah, for I say, for example, to my student, to practice, you don't need to play with fingers. To play piano, you need to play with your ears. And if you there is something that you cannot hear, because sometimes we pianists, we don't listen everything. If you
Mm,
use this recorder, this recording instrument, even a telephone, we can really work on it. We are so lucky we have this instrument to record ourselves and improve so fast. Imagine, for example, before YouTube. You know what is also me. I know what is to have not YouTube. Now students, they have YouTube. They can listen to many pianists. They have technology. This is so important. I knew many pianist students also in conservatory that they didn't know, for example, third piano concerto by Rachmaninoff. They were studying
mm,
piano, yeah, at the conservatory, and they didn't know piano concerto by Rachmaninoff, third piano concerto. But are you kidding me? Now you cannot say I don't know. Ignorance is not an excuse. Ignorance
mm.
nowadays is a sin. I mean, we are so lucky. Imagine if Brahms would have the opportunity to record himself. Yes, actually, there is one recording of him, but it's not so good. But imagine, for example, Chopin, Mozart, if he would have the opportunity to record himself, maybe he would write something different. I don't know.
Of
Here we have
course.
one question about recordings. Poom, do you record yourself during practice section? Actually, he said before, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he said
Yes.
that he actually is recording himself. I, in my for my experience, record myself. I started to record myself not so. Um, uh, I can say 2 3 years ago, when I started to learn how to use microphones, because I was really curious, and I started to have very good microphones, very good technology, and I started to record myself. I didn't like anything, so this was so important for me, because working with these special microphones or this technology that for me was like a discovery. uh, I was uh, creating something new that I didn't expect I could do it, because I found the inspiration listening to myself. I said, this I don't like, but could be better like this. So if you record yourself, you always have like a piece of paper where everything is written, so you can check everything and you can improve very fast. So this is my experience. So
Especially with Schubert fantasy, that
uh,
when I play with Chai, we really have to listen a lot how we play, because this situation very difficult. We don't have piano. Also, we don't have friends around our apartment, so very important.
but where is Chai now?
Yeah, he just arrived at home. Would you like to
Of
uh,
course.
discuss? Yeah. Okay, Chai, come here.
Hello, Chai. How are you? Can you hear
Hi.
me?
Yes, I can hear
Can
you.
you? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. We had a very interesting conversation with Poom. How
Yes,
do
yes.
you feel for your performance of tomorrow?
I think it's gonna be very interesting, like how we play it, because it's very deep and very come from our heart. You know,
This is really important.
it's
It's
gonna be very
fantastic.
interesting.
We
Yes.
were talking with Poom about that you are recording yourself playing this fantasy, because there is actually there is not public, so you need somebody. We are talking about the importance of recording himself for
Mhm.
practicing. What do you think
Sorry, about the
about the
recording.
recording?
When we practice, we
Hmm.
have to record ourselves regularly because we have to check how we play. So,
Yes,
what do you think about this thing?
yes, of course. I think when we play and when we record ourselves and we hear ourselves again, is so much different. We can like listen to our like uh, interpretation how
Listen
different,
back.
you know. Yeah, so I think it's very important to like record ourselves and listen again and again and just make everything better and better.
But tell me, Chab,
Hmm.
I want to know more about your project. Do you want to study abroad for a long time, or do you have project to come back in Thailand?
um, so my plan is I want to study abroad and finish my high school diploma here, and I want to go to like university in Canada and to study really like seriously for piano and
Ah,
become
piano performance.
yes piano performance and become a
But
pianist.
do you, so you want to become a pianist? You want to
Yes.
create a career playing piano? And
Hmm.
what do you think about the possibility now? For example, you are a young pianist to build a career using online platform. I mean, building your personal brand, building your own individuality, building your
Hmm.
personality, and try not to play in a standard way. What do you think about?
Yes, I think the online platform that Poom has given to me is such a good opportunity for me to really like uh, take it as an advantage and really show the music, not just like uh, play the same thing like in the competition. In the competition, everyone is very good and everyone is prepared very well. But the most important thing is who can really like convince the audience or the jury members and bring out the individualistic of their own sounds and their artistic side. I think that's the most important thing that every artist should really think about it.
Okay, thank you very much, Shai. We should. Now is 22:52 here in Italy. We should move to Instagram because also our
Oh,
friends in Instagram are waiting for us. We need to talk also with them. First of all, I want to thank you guys that you've been
Thank you
here.
so much.
Now we will continue our conversation in Instagram, and I want
Beautiful.
to thank our friend of Le Salon de la Musique. They are listening to us. I want to remind that tomorrow will be broadcast the concert of Poom and Chai at 6 p.m. Italian time. And also, I will broadcast tomorrow in the Salon de la Musique is concert by Beethoven, third concerto by Beethoven. So wait for it and stay tuned. So see you tomorrow.
See you.
see
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye bye.